Okay, so let's look at some dimensional analysis problems. So let's pretend that we're going to be some kind of metal worker. Okay, we are maybe a welder, and we have a piece of metal that we need to cut to 10 centimeters. All right, but our cutting device only measures in inches. So how many inches is 10 centimeters? All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to use something that's called dimensional analysis. And in order to do this, we need to know the conversion between centimeters and inches. All right, and this is something that if you have to do it in your lab or in your quiz, I'm going to give you this conversion. All right, so for this example, it's about 2.5 centimeters that equals 1 inch. So how many inches are in 10 centimeters? Right, so let's start this way. We have 10 centimeters, and I always suggest that people put this over 1. Okay, and this is just a visual for you to understand that 10 also equals 10 over 1. Okay, now we want to get rid of this centimeters, right? So how would we do that? Through division and multiplication, right? So if we have centimeters here on the top, we want to multiply by centimeters down here at the bottom. And we want to have inches, right? So we're going to put inches here on the top. And what this is going to do is you will see that centimeters, 1 on the numerator and 1 in the denominator, will cancel each other out. And then all we are left with at the end is inches. All right, and this is where our conversion factor comes in. All right, so we have 2.5 centimeters equals 1 inch. So we already know which one's going to go in the numerator, which one's going to go into the denominator. So we're just going to fill in those numbers. So we said 2.5 centimeters. So we'll put that down here, and we'll put 1 inch up here. All right, now what you're going to do is you're just going to multiply 10 centimeters times 1. So 10 times 1 is 10. 1 times 2.5 is 2.5. And then you're going to go ahead and do the math here. And you will see that this answer comes out to 4. All right, so for what? We already established that since we have centimeters on the top and centimeters on the bottom, they cancel out. So it's not 4 centimeters. All we are left with is inches. So we have our answer that 10 centimeters equals 4 inches. So let's go ahead and do one more problem. If you like to cook, you'll know there's many different types of measurements involved. Teaspoons, tablespoons, cups and quarts, pints and pinches and dashes, gallons, fluid ounce, liter and pounds, grams, Celsius, Fahrenheit, and there's many, many more. So let's say that we have a recipe that calls for 1 3/4 quarts of milk. And we bought a gallon. So we need to know how much of that gallon is going to be 1.75 quarts. All right, so what we're looking for is in gallons. So again, we need this conversion factor in order to do this problem. So in this case, 8 quarts equals 1 gallon. So let's start with what we know. We have 1.75 quarts. And once again, I recommend that you put this over 1 if it's easier for you to look at it this way. Now, in order to convert this into gallons, we got to get rid of this quarts. So again, we're going to put quarts on the bottom, and we're going to put gallons on the top. And then we just fill in the numerator and denominator, again, using our conversion factor. So in this case, 1 gallon is equal to 8 quarts. What do we do now? We solve the problem. Now, once again, quarts cancel each other out. We have 1 in the numerator and 1 in the denominator. And now we're just left with gallons, which is what we want, right? So 1.75 times 1 is 1.75. We have our gallons on the top, so we're going to put that on the top. And we have 1 times 8 equals 8. And we have no units down here, right? Because quarts canceled out, and there's no unit on this. And so if you go ahead and pull out your calculator and do this math, or if you can do that mental math, good for you. So that equals about 0.2 gallons. Okay guys, this concludes your pre-lab lecture for the metric system lab. So go ahead and attempt your lab. If you have any questions, make sure you either come to my office hours or post it in the discussion board for that week, or you can shoot me an email. All right guys, see you next week.